Alright guys, so I'm up early this morning because I'm heading out of town because we're supposed to get 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight. The plan is to go to the Home Depot, get some lumber, head back, and then actually build some mounts for the solar panels to see if we can keep the snow from accumulating on it. Also, I'll be going through the stats on the battery boxes to show you if we've been able to keep the batteries from freezing and tripping the low temperature switch. So hang in there and we'll get into it.
See if I can give you an idea here. I don't know, like 6 inches? Decent amount. Most we actually got all year, but I think this is doing a pretty decent. Toss those rags in the burn barrel. I want them to stink up the trailer, so, but this is gasoline, forget about it. But that's why I like it about diesel, I guess. It's relatively safe. Anyway, all right, going to get the chainsaw. All right, I'll show you what I'm working off of. Just to get an AutoCAD real quick. You can ignore. You look at the bottom, I've got the temp in the battery box, I've got the temp outside, the voltage, and the amps. And it starts at about 7 a.m. to about 5 p.m. So we actually remove some stuff here. All right, so you can see here now that it's almost all gone. It's, like I said, about 5 o'clock. And the snow didn't stop until probably like 10 a.m. or something like that. So it didn't really accumulate much after when I was out here earlier, but we just...
All right, quick update here. It's going to snow tonight. We're going to get like 8 inches, so I figured I'd start throwing together the mount for the solar panels. So I'll turn this around and give you guys a better look at it. All right, so what I have here is, this is going to be a 67.5 degree angle. So where I am, you want to have a really steep angle in the winter and a shallow angle in the summer. So this is why it's like kind of so narrow. But I'll show you guys once I get it mounted. I got one more board I got to throw on at the top and then see if this works. Let me come over here. I'll show you what I'm working off of. Just to get an AutoCAD real quick. You can ignore this back line because I was trying to make it somewhat configurable, but I'll deal with it when I get up there. I actually ordered a solar panel mount, but I don't want it to be on the ground, so my plan is to use this in conjunction. But just for now, I kind of made it just so I can use it without the mounts. But this is kind of what I'm going for. So I will come back in a little bit and show you guys once I get that last piece on and get it over there. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, it's a little dark, but I'm gonna go eat dinner and then I'll check back in with you guys once I get this in place. Okay, so this is what we ended up with. Ended up moving it a little bit to the left because it was so tall. I was worried about blocking the box. Excuse that it's so dark too. It's supposed to start snowing I think any minute, so I really wanted to get this done tonight. But yeah, so you can see I made a few extra changes I didn't plan on. I put this piece here to kind of lock it in, and then I put screws back here. You can't see them, just to stop them from coming this way, or just threw this piece of wood here just to stop it from tipping back. And I threw a couple of anchors right there, if you can see it. Just stuff for temporary, like for tonight. But I'm pretty sure when I come out tomorrow, there's not going to be any snow on this, so at least that's my hope anyway. These are probably a little bit further back than I wanted them to be, but I think we're good. So I will, let's cut to tomorrow and see how it does. All right. Okay, I'm in my bedroom and I just wanted to show you this real quick. I got a little bit of snow accumulating, so it's still sticking, but I think any weight will fall off. All right, quick update. It's next morning, probably like 7 a.m. or something like that. So we got maybe, let me see if I can give you an idea here. I don't know, like 6 inches. Decent amount. Most we actually got all year, but I think this is doing a pretty decent job. Because if you look at it, you can actually still see the panels almost kind of through it. So there's only a light amount on there compared to this actually. This accumulated. I mean, that's close to the same angle, but I guess that's just this one's a little bit steeper. So I'm confident once it stops snowing and the sun comes out, this will all come off. I mean, certainly a lot better if it were flat. I mean, I have solar panels on my roof, and you can see I've only got like a 312 or a 412 pitch. So that sometimes takes days because it gets all hard and crusty too, especially if it gets cooler out. So anyway, that's the update. So I expect that'll hopefully be clear here in hopefully a few hours. All right. Okay, so I'm out here now. It's probably just about 5 o'clock, but I just want to show you how the snow came off the panels. All right, so you can see here now that it's almost all gone. It's like I said, about 5 o'clock, and the snow didn't stop until probably like 10 a.m. or something like that. So it didn't really accumulate much after when I was out here earlier, but it's just the sun didn't come out because of the snow. So the sun didn't really come out until like 1 o'clock maybe. And I didn't really pay close attention to it, but I would probably say around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, pretty shortly after that, all the snow had come down. So I think it just needed a little bit of sun on it to clear off. So I would say this is mostly a success. Would have liked for it to not have stayed on there as long, but I think it just, it's not a lot of weight. So it's just kind of, and it's sticky, so it'll stick to really anything. So you really need that heat to bump it off. So, but it's coming off. So I think it's as passively maintenance free as I can make it. So, all right, I just wanted to share that update. All right, guys. So it's a few weeks later. It's March 6th today. So it took me a little bit to get the performance data. I was having an issue with the fuse, so the box kept turning off. So I had to deal with that. I actually outlined that in an earlier video. And then the temperature went up, so we've been in the 40s. But just this week we had a couple of 20-degree days. So I want to go ahead and I'll show you that real quick and see what that looks like. So let me go ahead and pull that up. All right, so I just want to show you guys this in the app real quick before I pull it up on, I built a spreadsheet because I wanted to show you the temperature and the voltage and the power data. So that's real quick. I'm going to just show you here. So this is the Govy temperature sensors. Right now it says trailer and bedroom thermometer, but it's really outside ambient and inside the box. So I'm just reusing them. But if we just take a quick, well, I'll save the analysis until I pull it up otherwise. And then the other place, so that's where I'm getting the temperature from. And then I'm getting my power data from the Wise cams. So starting from 5 a.m. through 9 p.m., I have a schedule to take a screenshot. So we pull up like 7 a.m. You can kind of see like 13 volts there, negative 6.8 amps, 8 point something watts. So it's a little hard to read, but it gets the job done. So let me go ahead and actually pull this up on the spreadsheet because it's a lot cleaner. Okay, so I switched over to my computer. So let me go ahead and share my screen so I can show you the spreadsheet. So let me just make this a little bigger. Okay, so what I have here is, if you look at the bottom, I've got the temp in the battery box, I've got the temp outside, the voltage, and the amps. And it starts at about 7 a.m. to about 5 p.m. So let me actually remove some stuff here. Just make this a little easier. Let's go through this one at a time. So we'll just look at the temp outside. Yeah, so temp outside, you can see that it started off around 7 a.m. at like almost 16 degrees, and then it kind of creeps up throughout the day until about 3 p.m. Where it hits like almost 30. And now to add the temp in the battery box, and if you saw the earlier videos, I kind of went over this a little bit, but this was before I had any electronics in the box. You'll actually see like where I like built the box and how I made it like super insulated and all that. But again, the batteries weren't there, so I had no idea how the performance was going to be. But you can see that like up until like 9 a.m., the sun doesn't really like the sun, like it's bright out obviously at 9 a.m., but the sun doesn't really hit that part of my yard directly. And I think that could probably be alleviated with like better placement, like when I get it up in Vermont in the field. So I could probably even get this like here, like approaching, maybe I could get this line to like kind of move over here. But anyway, so 9 a.m., we're pretty much like a 11-degree differential from like outside. And that's pretty good because overnight, like we're at the end of like the overnight. So at this point, like this 9 a.m., I'm still maintaining that 11-degree differential. So it's 18 degrees outside, but it's 29 in the box. But then it starts taking off. So like now I'm looking at like a 20-degree differential. I actually wish I had this plotted like what the diff was. But anyway, you can just see like we skyrocket and we actually hit like 107 in the box, which is almost like potentially not too high in the winter, but in the summer. So I'm definitely gonna have to have like a maintenance protocol in the seasons, like in the summertime where I vent the box, like where I lift up that glass so it can let all the hot air out. So I'll have to keep an eye on that in the summer. And then like in the fall or the end of the summer, we'll probably like close the box back up so it can get warm. And then the other thing I've been considering doing, which isn't really necessary, and I'll explain this in a minute, would be like putting some like bricks in there or something that can like soak up that and act like soak up the heat and act kind of like a thermal battery. So I need to think about that. Anyway, and then it drops off pretty sharply. So 15, like 3 o'clock. So I think again, it's still light out, but we've lost our direct sun exposure on the box. So, by the time it's like 5 p.m., we're at like a 25-degree differential. And I don't have good shots of this after just because of I have good temperature data. I probably should have included it, but I didn't have good voltage and amps data because it was a little hard to read the battery monitor on the camera. So I cut it off 5 p.m. for the sake of having consistent data. But yeah, so maybe considering putting in some like thermal mass in there to try to even that out. But the reason that doesn't really matter, and the way I think of it anyway, is that pretty much if the sun's out,
that's the time I'd be charging the battery. And if the sun's out, the box is hot. So if the box is hot, then I really don't have to worry about my low temperature cutoff. Um, the only reason I would maybe consider adding the number one reason for adding thermal mass would maybe be more on the discharge cycle. So I think my low temperature cutoff on the charge is 32, and my low temperature cutoff on the discharge is 0. So what that means, if it was really cold, let's say it was like 0 out. I'm not so much worried about charging because I'm pretty sure that even in like a 0-degree day, the sun's going to hit the box and we're going to get this like big bump in temperature. So the box is going to get pretty warm. So we'll at least collect some charge. Again, yet to be seen, um, but on the discharge, that's where I would probably be a little bit concerned because if it's 0 outside, let's say during the day, well, it's actually, yeah, let's say it's like negative at night. Let's say it's like -10 and that 10-degree differential sticks. Once the sun's gone, I'm almost like going to be approaching 0 overnight in the box. And then that means the cameras turn off, the Wi-Fi turns off. So I think that's where the potential could come in for like needing to have like trying to keep it a little bit warmer in the box overnight. So that's something to think about. But anyway, the other reason actually I couldn't show you guys this right away and this was actually a really good day to do it because I just replaced the fuse and the system was like kind of like coming back up, charging up, is that usually like throughout the day, I actually charge the system like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So when I show you this voltage, it'll drop off. So this was actually a day where the system didn't fully charge in the day. So I can actually like show you a consistent charge cycle. So let's bring in voltage first. And I'm gonna hide the temp in the battery box just to make this a little bit easier to read. So temp or voltage is this orange line here. So I start off with like a consistent 13. And then as we start to take on a charge, 13.2, 13.6, and then it kind of dips again. I don't really know why that is, but um, that kind of gives you an idea. So that's charging voltage. And if this was a day where it was like fully charged, we'd probably be like hitting like 14.2, I think. So maybe like up here, and then it would like sharply, like I think it drops off, or maybe the voltage stays the same, but the amps drop off. So it's a little confusing, and that's why I decided not to pick one of those days. Um, let's bring in, I'll show you watts real quick, but I'm going to remove it right away just because it's kind of hard to display. So watts, for all intents and purposes, we can kind of get all the same information that we can get from amps, but it's kind of hard to see with the other numbers. So let me pull up amps. Amps is a little bit easier to read. It's a little bit lower, but so you can see here, like at like 7 a.m., we're bringing it's like negative 1.22 amps, meaning we're consuming an amp at like almost an amp and a quarter. And then at like 8 a.m., it's like 0.65. So we're consuming like a little bit over half an amp. I don't know why this is actually so low, but at 10 a.m., we're consuming 2.5 amps. I'll have to go back and look at that. That seems a little odd to me, but or maybe that was a typo. That might be a typo. I think it's actually supposed to be 2.63. I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, let's just go over. What time do we say that was? I'll go double check that, but I'll double check it. But I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be 2.63. Anyway, but by the time we get up to 11, we're at like 15.7 watts. And again, we wanted to know 15.7 amps. And if we wanted to know our watts, we would just multiply these numbers and that would give us the watts. And then 18.8, 20.4, 19.9, and then 17.8. And then again, kind of back to what I was saying before about the being concerned about the low temperature on the charging is that you can see the temperature in the box. Did I bring? Yeah, so at my peak charging hours, I'm already at like 41. So even at like this potential like 2.6, it's already 40 in the box. So anyway, so that's kind of it for the data. I hope that answers some questions or is relatively interesting. But I think once I get it out in the field, it's gonna be a little bit colder in Vermont too. I think we're kind of past the end of winter, so I probably won't see that data until next year. But I think this box definitely achieved the outcome I was looking for and keeping those batteries above freezing. So anyway, I'll end it here and let you guys know. So, all right, so I think that does it for this video, going over the performance of the box and the temperature and all that. So if you guys are interested, you can check out the earlier video where I built the box or where I had that issue with the breaker that I resolved. But and then I think coming up, I'll be probably going over how I purchased a lot of materials for the box and how I actually ended up saving some money in the end by switching to AliExpress. And then hopefully sometime soon after that, actually hauling it up to Vermont and getting it installed on the property. So, subscribe for that. Check out some of those old videos and thanks for watching.